Welcome back to Maths with Mrs. J. We've been talking about factorisation and we've begun to learn how to factorise the easier quadratics. In the previous video, I taught you how to factorise quadratics where the a, in other words, the coefficient of the x squared term is just 1. And in those ones, you can go straight to your brackets. Ones where the a is not 1 are a little bit more tricky. Now, there are two main ways of learning to do this. The way that I learnt when I was at school, to be honest, I don't do anymore because I far prefer the other way, but I'll just, to give you the benefit of knowing the various options out there, you get your various possibilities of getting 2x squared, so 2x and x are the only possibilities there. Then you'd look at your different factors here, and you'd have to get the right combination so that they'll add up to give you that. Now, sometimes that was easy, sometimes that was really, really tricky if there were lots of factors of this number and lots of factors of this number. The method that I'm going to teach you is the way that I far prefer to do it these days, which is to split that middle term up, and I'll explain how in just a minute, and then deal with it as two pairs and take out a bracketed expression as your common factor. Just going back in reverse yet again, because remember that factorisation is the opposite of expansion, so it helps to see how we expand. If we had these two brackets here and we were asked to expand, remember our FOIL would get our 2x times 3x, which is 3x squared, 2x times 4, and 1 times 3x. Now, those two terms together make up our middle term. Our b, which is 11, is a combination of those two numbers added up. Of course, our last term, our constant term, is made up of these two numbers multiplied together. Now, if we have a way of splitting this middle term in such a way that you can then pair up and take out common factors and then bring out a bracketed common factor, then that will make our lives a lot easier. How do we do this? Well, what we need to do is this. We work out what AC is. Now remember, A is the coefficient of your x squared term and C is just your constant term, and B, all right? So we have to find two numbers that multiply to give, in this case, 12, and we want them to add to give 7. And that's how we're going to split up this 7x. So let's do that. This is fairly easy to find, these two numbers. 3 and 4 will work perfectly well. It doesn't matter whether you do your 4x plus 3x or 3x plus 4x. It really doesn't matter. Let's do maybe our 4x first. So I have split my 7x up into a 4x plus 3x. Now I'm in a position where I can go ahead and do my pairs and take out common factors. So out of these first two, I can take out a 2x and I'm left with x plus 2. And out of these two, I can take out a 3, x plus 2. And thankfully, we end up with a bracketed expression as our common factor that can come all the way out the front, and the rest goes in our other bracket to make it multiply back out again. All right, so just saying that again, the best method I find for doing this is to split your middle term in such a way that the two coefficients multiply to give AC and add to give B. From then on, once you've done that step, it's really quite easy. It's just a pairing up and taking out a common factor situation. Okay, what's AC here? Well, AC is going to be 4 times 5, which is 20. So we want two numbers to multiply to give 20, and we want them to add to give negative 21. Okay, if they're multiplying to give a positive 20 and adding to give negative 21, they must both be negative numbers, mustn't they? So negative 20 and negative 1 sound pretty good. So, and again, it doesn't matter which one you write first, but what we've done is we've split our negative 21x up into our negative 20x minus x. Now we're going to pair up. Take 4x out of our first pair. Now here's where you need to be a little bit cluey. We're aiming to get the same bracket. This is a minus x plus 5. How about we take out minus 1 as a common factor, and then that will get our signs correct. Saying that again, because we've got a minus 1 outside there, we need a minus 5 in here, and that will then make everything work out the way we want it to. Okay, so we bring that out the front, and our other bracket will be our 4x minus 1. Okay, how are we going? Okay, so what have we got? So for AC here, we've got 10 times negative 3, which is negative 30. So we want two numbers that multiply to give negative 30, and we want them to add to give 13. Okay, let's think about this. We're going to have one negative and one positive, aren't we? Well, thinking about our factors of 30 that are 13 apart, how about 15 and 2? And because we want to end up with a positive 13, if we do positive 15 and negative 2, that will work. They will multiply to give negative 30 and they will add to give 13. So let's do that. Again, it doesn't matter which order you split this middle term up. You can write 15x minus 2x, or you can write 2x minus 15x. Doesn't matter. You split it up. And it will work out, you'll still end up with the two same brackets at the end. They might just be in the different order. All right, 10x squared and 15x, what can we take out? We can take out a 5x. We're left with 2x plus 3. Now, the other pairing is a minus 2x minus 3. This is going to be another situation like we had here. We're going to want to take out a minus 1, and then we change the signs. Now we've got our common factor of 2x plus 3 that's going to come out, and our other bracket will be 5x minus 1. Okay, two more. Now you will need to do a lot more on your own to really hone your skills here, but two more that I'll go through with you. So our AC here is 8 times 7, which is 56. So we want two numbers to multiply to give that, and we want them to add to give B is negative 30, and to add to give negative 30. Ooh, this one's a little bit more tricky, isn't it? Thinking about our factors of 56, well, 7 and 8 come to mind, but they're not going to work. How about 28 and 2? That'll work, won't it? Let's try that. So if we change this negative 30 to a negative 28x minus a 2x, let's just check this. We said negative 28 and negative 2. They do multiply to give positive 56, and they do add to give negative 30, so we're all good there. Okay, first two terms, we can take out a 4x, and yet again we're going to take out a negative 1 here. Seeing a bit of a theme happening here, but that's okay. So we get our 2x minus 7, 4x minus 1. Just to show you that it doesn't matter which order you do it in, let me do it in a different order up here. So if I change that to 8x squared minus 2x minus 28x plus 7, first two terms I'm going to take out a 2x. Second two terms I'm going to take out a minus 7. And then, of course, your 4x minus 1 comes out the front, and your 2x minus 7. So if you do your middle term in the different order of splitting up, you'll probably end up writing your brackets in the different order, but it really doesn't matter which order your brackets are written in. As long as you have the same two brackets, that's fine. Okay, last one for this video. AC is 12 times -7, which is -84. And B is our coefficient of X, which is 17. Now we want two numbers that multiply to give -84. So one's going to be positive and one's going to be negative, and they're going to add to give 17. So we're thinking about some factors of 84 that are a fair bit apart in size. So we're not looking for ones that are quite close. We're looking for ones that are fairly much apart. How about 21 and 4 would work? So if we did plus 21 and minus 4, they will multiply to give us our -84, and yes, they will add to give us our 17. So let's go with that. Sometimes it can take a little bit of time to work out your way of splitting up that middle term, but the good news is once you've done that, then it's easy, okay? Then it's just a matter of your pairing and that sort of thing. 12x squared and 21x, we're going to take out a 3x. And yet again, we're going to take out a -1. Okay, you'll all be experts at this by here. What's happened here? That should be a 7 there. There we go. So we're going to have 4x plus 7 out the front and 3x minus 1. And again, it doesn't matter which order you write your brackets in as long as you have the same two brackets with the correct sign in each bracket. 4x minus 7 and 3x plus 1 is not going to work. You'd get the wrong middle term there.